Greetings and welcome to SmartWatchTix.com. Here it is. This is the original Carbinox watch. It's called the Lux Black, and there's a green Army edition of this one. What's inside the box? Well, this is the original. Yep, the original Carbinox watch. And turns out it's still the best on the market. It's an amazing watch. Good price, good capabilities, and you are going to get to learn all about it right here today. You can pick it up at gocarbinox.com. We're going to be telling you a lot more about it as we go along. You get this little introductory information packet. Comes along with the watch. The watch itself, that's already got a specialized screen protector on it. We'll talk about that. You pop this little thing out of here that it's resting on, and you get the actual watch itself. When you lift this, says open, you're going to need it, and by golly you are, because in here is how you keep your smartwatch running. You know, they run on electricity, and so you need to use this charger, USB port connector. Anything that your cell phone plugs into, you could plug this into, and it's a magnetic coupler. You see the two magnets and the two pins that will just snap right in there and connect. Now, I know you guys have been looking around at these Carbinox watches all over the web and having a hard time finding the specs on them. You came to the right place, because I got all that for you right here. This is the little sheet on the Carbinox LUX. Again, both the Black and Army edition are the same. You've got a 1.69-inch TFT, which means it's going to be good and decent brightness in all lighting conditions. 240 pixel by 280 screen capability. It'll work in extreme conditions. This is in centigrade. You can convert that to Fahrenheit to find out that that's pretty darn cold and pretty darn hot. I don't know, but around the world I've been hearing that it's hitting 40 degrees centigrade in a lot of different places. It's a hot summer. This will go all the way up to 55, no problem. 3 atmosphere waterproof. Now what does that mean? Well, an atmosphere is how many equivalents to the Earth's pressure underwater it will withstand. And they run about 10 meters per atmosphere. So that's a good 30 feet. Nope. Yeah, 30 feet or, 30 meters. 30 meters, sorry, underwater for waterproof. I get my metric and imperial backwards. It's using Bluetooth 5.0 support. What's that mean? That means you're going to have good connectivity with your phone. You know, you tether it to your phone to move your data back and forth and receive notifications. And once you're up to 5.0, it's a good, clean connection. As terms of the battery capability, 350 milliamp hour lithium polymer battery in it. Average daily use time is 14 days, and you can do continuous exercise for 20 hours before you need to charge it. Got an actual daily standby time of 50 days. If you're not going to do much with it, it'll go a couple of months practically before you need to charge it. So all in all, a really decent watch. The packet that came with it now, when you open this up here, you see that we've got a little manual that goes with it, and a special card, and another screen protector. So you got 2 of them, 1 of them installed. In the manual itself now, it tells you to turn it on. You're going to long press for 3 seconds. After you do what? Charge it up. Yes, always a good idea on any of these watches to charge it for 2 or 3 hours. If you can, just plug it in and let it go, and then turn it on after it's fully charged. There are shortcut gestures in here and methods of swiping up and down and left and right to get to everything. Yeah, some people ask, will it show all of your notifications when you get them on the watch? Absolutely, it's right there. You can enter all of these different functions simply by swiping through. You'll see those on the watch. We'll go through them for you. And you can also go into a bubble type of a layout. Now this QR code connects you to download an app called Fit. You're going to put that on your Android or your Apple phone. This, I believe, is the Android version of it, but you can search for it in the Apple Store as well. Fit When you install that, you'll be able to pair your watch to your phone and do all of the connectivity things you need to do, including setting time on the watch. Some folks don't even realize that the easiest way to set the time in your area is by just pairing it to your phone. It'll take over and do it automatically. You can get the QR code in the settings, and you can go into all of this stuff. And there's the app QR code, which you can bring up on the watch. If you don't have the manual, you simply use your phone to scan that QR code on your watch itself, and you'll be able to get the app and download it. An easier way, you watching this video, is just to go to the show notes here and click on the link there. It'll take you over to the Google Play Store, and you'll be able to download DeFit directly. All right? You with all that? Then it gets into pairing instructions. We're not going to go through a lot of that. Very, very simple to do. Just follow the guidelines, and you can pair the DeFit app, and then you'll be all hooked up. You got watch faces now that you can download once you're there. You can set up your notifications. Whatever you'd like to show on your watch when it comes into your phone can be relayed over if you've got permissions granted to the DeFit app to send them to your watch. You can set alarms. You can do remote shutter, so you can take pictures from your phone, right, with the button on the watch. And all these other things are there. I know you want to get into the watch. Well, let's do that. Charging tips. Make sure you're getting the connection really good. And here, again, are all of the specs that we already showed you at the beginning of the video. And some safety tips and using tips with some troubleshooting information. I'm showing you the whole manual, so those of you who haven't bought one yet can kind of take a look at everything and get an idea what this watch will do for you. And, of course, you can't find these too often anywhere on the internet, so you can always remember to come back to smartwatchtips.com, and at the beginning of all our reviews, you'll find the manual. All right, it's about time I take my own medicine. I'm going to charge it up, and we'll take a look at it. We're just about ready to begin, but before we turn it on, I really want to go through this stuff with you so you get it right. If you set your watch up right at the very beginning, your first day, you'll be happy forever. Let's take apart the buckle. First of all, you can see how well it's put together. There's solid screws holding it on. Non-removable band on this one. So if you like the green, get the Army edition. If you like the black, get this one, okay? There's a couple of protectors on here. The easy one's on the back. You see this little film? You can slide your fingernail under here and pull it off. It's covering the diodes that do the biometrics, your heart rate, blood oxygen. It all works through here. It'll still work, but that film, it's just not good to have it on there. It obscures it a little bit. So take the film off of the back. Now the front one, a lot of people have trouble with this. I've even watched some reviews on the internet where they just pull this thing off and it just comes right off and they think they're done. No, there's actually two layers here. This is a glass screen protector that's glued to the surface glass of the watch under very controlled conditions, so there's no dust or bubbles under it. So in order to get the film that's on the top of the glass off, watch carefully, you want to make sure you push down the edge of this little pull-up thing to the very, very edge so that it'll catch the film and separate the film from the glass. Then you pull this off. Now that's just film. That's just plastic film. See that? That's not glass. The glass screen protector is floating there. It's so nice. It's actually adhered to the glass itself. So that's how you handle getting the watch prepared for turning it on. Now turning it on is simple as a 3-second press on the power button. 1, 2, 3. It vibrated slightly, opens into a nice animated watch face with the time. Now, I've already had this on and I've pre-connected it to my phone and I set it up so that its date and time and everything has been updated. Be honest with you. The first time you turn it on, it will be just whatever random time it'll pick up, and then you'll have to set the time. Not in the watch, mind you, but in the app. So you'll have to go through, pair your watch to the app, and the time will automatically update. But that's getting down there. We're going to get some data on this right now. I'm going to wear it for a couple of days, so I have some things to show you, and we'll walk all through all of the features right now. Here we go, almost 24 hours later, and we got a bunch of good stuff to show you. Come down by sliding down, and you get into all your different controls. This one with the little Bluetooth symbol lit up in blue means that I've been able to pair this with the phone. You want to make sure you do that at the very beginning. That's going to set your time, as we talked about, and it's good to keep it connected whenever you're within range. I love this. I love the flashlight. It's a really nice, super bright. I don't know if you can see the background is dimming in brightness because the flashlight's overriding the screen. But it's an on-off flashlight, and it's great for locating your keyhole in your car or just whenever you need a flashlight, and it is so easy to get to. All you got to do is swipe down and turn it on. Now, the opposite of that, in a sense, is this theater mode. I'm going to show you that after I show you the brightness. There's full brightness on this watch. Really nice, easy to see outside. You can have it set wherever you want. When you turn on theater mode, it's going to go into the lowest setting, dim mode, and turn off the vibration. This is a recommendation to you guys to run this watch in this mode whenever practical. If you're indoors and you don't need the vibration, turn on that theater mode. It keeps everything dimmed down. It's still easy to see, but you save tremendously on battery life. Whenever you want to come out of it, just touch it. It'll be restored to the brightness that you set, whatever that is. So simple, so well thought out. This is the temperature information, the weather in your area or whatever area you set. Anyway, you can set that Fahrenheit or centigrade. You can see the range, and you can see the forecast for the future. Basic stuff, but that's all adjustable in the app. And of course, you can set it for your area as well if that's what you want to track. This little icon in the bottom is the gear, and that's always settings. When you come in here, you have all these different things. Now, some of these that look like they're settings or in the settings are really applications, like a stopwatch, an alarm, and countdown. Those are not really settings per se, but brightness sure is. Here, when you go in, you have a more fine tuning adjustment of the brightness. It's exactly the same as what you did when we slid down, but you have access to it here as well. Then you got this shake on. Okay, that's for twisting your wrist to light the watch up. When you turn it off, it's not going to turn on when you twist your wrist. When you have it on, it will. And that's settable over a time period in the app. So you can, at night, make sure you turn it off if you haven't set that up. But if you have, it can go off automatically. Theater mode, we showed you that. Resets the whole watch if you tap that one. Wipes out all your data and gets it ready for you to hand down to some friend of yours or your child as you upgrade to the next one. You do know there's a couple of more Carbinox watches out there, and we've reviewed them. We're also comparing them. So make sure you subscribe to our channel, smartwatchtics.com. Yep. Power off, of course, turns the watch off. About shows you that the Lux is actually called the C16. When you're searching in Bluetooth to find it for pairing, that's what it's going to come up as. Shows you your overall battery level and whether you're connected or not, which is right there. And then, of course, here's the app that'll get you to the DoveFit app, which you can scan from here. But again, my recommendation to you guys is to go to the Google Play Store if you can and download it from there, DoveFit. You'll see it in just a minute. Okay, that's everything from here. You with me? Swipe up, and if you have any notifications sent from your phone, and you set all that up in the app as well, which ones do you want to see? WhatsApp or SMS texts or what? You'll see them when they come in, as long as you're within Bluetooth range. Yeah. Okay, and that's there. And then we start going through all our different cards. This is the sports. It's showing you on your goal, which is settable. I have it set for 8,000 steps. It shows where we are, and there's a flashing arrow at the bottom, which means I can slide up and show that my maximum number of steps is 513 and 11 minutes and 1 mile, and there's the calories, and here they are on a chart, 24-hour chart, so you can quickly glance and see exactly where you are in terms of your activities for the day. Sleep now, deep sleep, light sleep, 6 hours, 21 minutes, slide up, and this shows you your sleep time for the last several nights. But if I wear it every night, this will fill up and they'll start to push off the edge as the date changes, and you'll get a synopsis of how your sleep is. Really nice that each of these cards have a lot to them. Come in here, it just vibrated. It's turning on the diodes to read the heart rate. Yeah, it won't read it if it's not getting a good connection. You could touch it with your fingers. A lot of times I recommend to folks to touch here because all of us human beings pretty much have the same skin color, texture, no hair on the palm of your hand. So if you really want to try to get good biometric measurements, take it off your wrist. See my imprint? I've been wearing it for 24 hours. And you can just touch it right there. Otherwise, wear it on your arm. But do take into consideration all of the differences in our bodies in terms of possible accuracy deviation from these devices. So I can put it here and it's going to start reading my heart rate. I also can slide up, see my maximum and minimum. And this is fun. If you're really doing a workout, you can get a quick glance on here as to where you are in your aerobic activity. That being sedentary and that being pretty much VO2 max. Here's our 24-hour heart rate chart, and it's showing you, basically the peaks and valleys, and again, information of your high and your low through that 24-hour period. Slide one more time now, and you get into exercises. The last exercise I did was a walking activity, and it was right there. It's not going to go in and do anything at this point, but if I open a new one, I can select amongst all these different workouts, including badminton, basketball, football. There is swimming, because guess what? It's a 3 ATM watch, so it's going to be definitely swimmable. Football, golf, elliptical. There's quite a few different activities. Each of these will behave differently when you try to run the activity. But you select whichever one you want, you start it up, and it'll just start calculating everything for you and transfer that data over to the app later as well. Here we go in to measure blood pressure, and doggone, you got to be quick. There we go. Let's start it over again. And it's going to give you your reading, systolic and diastolic. Now, this is tricky. Blood pressure is usually done with a cuff. There's a lot of watches reading blood pressure now. I really recommend you take it with a grain of salt and lessen until you can check it against your calibrated cuff. Now, if it looks like it's exactly on or 10 points too high or too low, you can adjust what you read here to match what your cuff reading is and get in the ballpark. But don't rely on these biometrics at all for accuracy, okay, in terms of making medical decisions. I switched this over to the blood oxygen section here, and let's start that again. There we go. It's using green diode technology. And you saw it gave us a reading. Sometimes they use red diodes, and that's a little bit better, but for right now, it's okay for just getting nominal readings. Now, I didn't show you, but if you slide up, you'll see your minimum and your maximum. The normal range for you is from 95 to, they say 98, but it can go all the way up to 100. And it's showing you your last 7 readings, that being the oldest and the newest over here, and the range between those. Same thing happened over here on blood pressure. We have your last readings, what's considered normal, and here's the last 7 readings as well. And I haven't quite hit my 7th one. They're all gray until you start filling them up. Okay, it's still trying to do it. So you got those 3 different biometrics. Then you've got your weather forecast that we already saw. And this is going to be one of these cards in here as well. Finally, or almost finally, you have a shutter. Now, when you click that and you're tethered to your phone and you got the DeFit app there, it will turn the DeFit app into the camera mode, and you can remotely trigger taking a picture. Hold your phone out. Now, you're not going to see the picture that's on your phone on the watch. You'll have a button that you can press and take the picture. Then you have a player. This is optional. You can turn it on or not. And there's no speaker in here because it's so hardened for swimming and weatherproofing. But it will let you control the music that's playing on your phone, okay? And that's the last one. So hitting that button brings us back here to the very beginning. If I slide off to the right, you get this big bubble menu. Now, most everything you already have seen is here in an icon. It's just a matter of learning what the icons mean. There's the power off, there's the camera. You just learn them after a while. And there's no knob to make them bigger or smaller, but you can slide around and get to every corner of here if you want to. You can hit the back button to get out to the watch face. We're almost done, gang. Press and hold on the watch face, and it goes into a small thumbnail. You see you have selection down here of available watch faces. You can take this one. It's going to have a date and time on it and a picture in the background. Now you can set the picture you want on the watch from your phone, which is where you're taking your pictures anyway. So with the DeFit app, you're able to actually go in there and contour your watch to have personalize it, if you will. Here's a nice digital watch. Here's another kind of picture type of a face. And then this is a fun one that's, well, the hands are almost together. The appropriate way is to show it at 10:10. If you look at pictures of watches, they're almost always at 10 minutes after 10 o'clock. But here we are, a little bit after 2, but you do see that the hands are there. So that covers everything. All of your controls are up here. You see our power level after 24 hours. Heavy use, it's dropped just to 73%, so plenty of power with this. Your notifications, all of your menu items. You can't swipe out of this. You have to hit the back button to come back. And then you can come over, of course, into all of the different cards. Really nice watch with lots of stuff in it. Now let's look at the app. This is a common app, DeFit, that's used by a lot of different companies. Therefore, it's had a lot of work on it. So it's in really good shape and does a great job. Wait till you see all of this. I'm in the Google Play Store now. You'll find it, DeFit. You install it into your phone, and then you hit open. Now, you set up and you register in an account if you want to. That's pretty straightforward. It was in the manual how you do that. Once you land on here and you have synced with your watch, you're going to get this first opening page. Now, if you recall on here, on the watch, we have our step count, and it should match if they're in sync, and it does. And everything about the step count is here. You go into it, and you've got your calories burned and total minutes, active MET minutes, okay? And there's a whole story behind the MET. You're going to try to maximize that over time. You show your last 7 days performance and where you are in terms of ranking with other folks that are doing this. You also have the ability to change any date you want to and look at your old data as well, or stratify it by week or by month. All of that's there. So really robust work on this app to give you multiple ways of looking at your data. Here's your last night's sleep time, including rapid eye movement. Got a good dream going right around there. You've got deep and light and so forth. Then it's broken down in a circle if you want to see what percentages. And it even gives you a sleep quality score recommendation. All this in a watch that's seriously waterproof and rugged. It's really a well-done device. Your average heart rate, your heart rate chart, and your high and low are shown in here, along with your last 7-day trend and where you are in your sleep with respect to other people that are your same biometrics or your same demographics. That's the word. I've registered female because this will also do female period tracking. And in order to get that, you got to register as a female. So to show you all of that stuff, I put that in there. Beyond 35 people get up early. Beyond 77 people sleep less. If you really want to see how normal or abnormal you are, you can get it as far as your sleep time goes. Heart rate, here's the basic information. These are individual measurements. We saw that when we flip to the card, it takes an individual measurement, and that's the heart rate of the moment. However, we also have continuous heart rate going on with this one. Instantaneous, continuous. Not very many do that. It will actually break down. I'm kind of a sedentary guy, so all of my time is 13 hours have been spent in light with just a little bit, 30 minutes of weight loss. Then it goes aerobic, anaerobic, and then finally VO2 max. It will cover all of that, and at the end of the day, you'll have a synopsis of how your day broke up into all these different segments. Pretty cool. Gives you a bit of description about heart rate analysis, and again, you can go over, look at previous days. All these other days, they're with different watches, all of which that use this app. When you're set up and you're registered, no matter what watch you're using, if it tethers to DeFit, you can accumulate your data. So I love that about it as well. It's a universal watch using a universal app. So we got the heart rate. We got the same thing going with blood pressure, the last 7 readings. You can measure it instantaneously here. There is no continuous blood pressure or blood oxygen readings on this one, so they have to be done instantaneously. And it's pretty easy. You got the watch there. You hit measure, it immediately lights the watch up as long as you're wearing it, and you can go through and get the data. So if you have somebody that's sick in the other room with the door closed because you don't want to catch what they got, but you want to monitor their heart rate, blood pressure, and blood oxygen, this will do it. You've got them wearing it. They don't even have to wake up. You can do it from outside the walls of the room as long as you're within Bluetooth range, and that's pretty decent. So you can get all of that data. Same thing here again with blood oxygen. Gives you your total, your last 7-day trends, and some understanding information with a measure button and the ability to see all of your readings over time in here as well, which is really, really nice. Okay, we're not there yet. We're getting close. You've got some exercises, 2 different ways of doing it. This one is done here on the phone with GPS. So you can do an outdoor run, hit start. It'll work with GPS and give you a Google map. I've done a couple of those. One of them I just got started and stopped, but I'll show you. I come in here. It drills in. There's my house in Google Maps. I'm just right at the back door, and then I turned it on, and then I turned it off, and but it gave me a spot on the map. So if you really want to just log where you are somewhere with this app, you can just do it with that. But if you actually do something, here's a 5-minute activity. There's my house again. There's that back door, and here is an exercise activity that I did, just walking around the place. And it shows you in yards. When you get to enough, it'll start showing you in miles or in metric if you have it switched to that. So you have GPS-enabled capabilities as long as you take the phone with you and you activate your outdoor activity here in the opening screen on the app itself, right there, right? However, you can also do the activities from the watch, as you saw. And here's a 8-minute walk I did. It's showing a consistent, basically 91 beat heart rate, steps, mileage, calories, speed, pace, average. And this was for walking. And again, if I was really being aerobic, it would show you how many minutes I was in each of these zones as well. And that is done just from the watch. You don't get a track now showing you where you went. And your distance mileage is going to be computed based on the pedometer because there's no GPS in the watch. But there is GPS in your phone. So if you want the track record, do this one, the outdoor. See, it's got the location services. This has got the pedometer step count. Not a lot of folks know that, but that's what's available. You can get more training data. This is all your historic stuff. Here's a 3-hour swim, guys. Look at that. I was such a prune. Actually, I turned it on and I just kind of walked around with it. But I wanted to test out the swimming. And just like the others, it doesn't give you distance, of course, because you're in water, but it can give you your heart rate and your overall time. And then there's a bunch of other things too. So you can, as you do these activities, they'll accumulate in here and you can look over your results. That's just the first tab. Come over here. You got the name of the watch, which is really the Lux, the Carbinox LUX, but it's called the C16 for the app. You can change and add watch faces here. These are the stock ones we've looked at, but you can hit more watch faces. It'll tie into a server, and it will load up and show you a bunch of different watch faces that are available. And they are oftentimes seasonal, so they'll shift them around depending on the season. If you want something dark or light in the back, have a light background so easy to see at night and use it as a flashlight as well. Or if you want it just subtle, you can. There's Christmas theme, digital type like the old Casio watches, and on and on. It's got the astrological signs in here, many, many more. Simple to download. You just tap it down. All right, I'll show you. You tap it, you download. It's going to take a moment, but I'm going to skip through that. There we go. Pops back. It adds one. You can change this one. You can't add any more. You'll have one available from the list that you can download. Yeah, it does a pretty darn good job of it. Of course, this way you can contour the watch to meet any need you may have. So that's the watch faces. You can set up your notifications for pushing that information to read on the screen. You can set alarms here just like you can in the watch. This is that shutter thing where I can give permission to take pictures. I can come on there. Now see, I got a shutter button right there, and if I tap the button, it will take a picture of whatever I'm pointing the phone to. Easier to show you there than it was on the watch. But the shutter button, once you've set it up, as you just saw, I can activate it from the watch. And as long as you got the app running in the background or in the foreground, I believe, definitely in the foreground, it'll go into that mode and put it in camera mode for you automatically. Other stuff, you got 12 24-hour imperial metric, do not disturb. You can got sedentary reminder. You can change your automatic heart rate detection from 5 minutes to 30 minutes. You've got the ability to turn on or off that controlling music capability. You can set your language. You can auto lock it from as low as 5 to 30 seconds. That's once it turns on. And it's being a little sluggish on me today. It's usually not that way, but once you actually touch it, when you twist your wrist, it lights up for a couple of seconds and goes off. But once you touch it, it will stay on for as long as you've set in the auto lock right there. And of course, you can reset the watch. This is the twist your wrist to see the time, and you can set a time frame that it will work or not work. Sedentary reminders, there's the weather. And here's the physiological cycle reminder. You're not seeing it on the watch, but it is in the app. So ladies, you can come in here. You can get all of the menstrual information on it. And you can go to the calendar, and it'll show you everything you need to know, including, look at this, a percentage chance-ish thing. So even if you're not going to get this watch, you should download the DeFit app and register as a female if you want to play with a really good period tracking calendar program. It's built in automatically here. Finally, your profile. This is where you set things up for you. And again, I choose female gender. I just took some default data in here. Step length is nice because that's your stride, and it gives you more accurate distance traveled over a long period of time or a long distance if you optimize that. And just Google it. There's ways you can figure out what your stride is. You can set your overall goals for your step count, and that shows up in that circle. Background protection information. You can tie it to Google Fit so it'll transfer your workout information there, and a basic about the watch. And those are the overall 3 tabs of the DeFit app itself. So here we are. Oh, one more thing. Simply because it's 3 atmosphere waterproof, let's test that out. What do you think, huh? Here we go. Got the stopwatch running. Remember, it's completely locked. Nothing can take it out of stopwatch except tapping that button to clear it, pausing it, and taking it out of that mode. So we can take this puppy and saturate it in water. Now, 3 atmosphere is 30 meters down. I've got you 4 or 5 inches. But we'll let it sit there for a while, and I'll come back and we'll check it out. Okay, here we go. We're coming up on an hour and 15 minutes. Turns out that at the end of an hour, it just starts over at 0 again. So it's been in here well over an hour. Let's dry it off, take a look, and see what we've got. All the buttons functional? Well, of course they don't work until you stop the stopwatch. There we go. Now we can come back. We've got slide control, we've got motion, everything is working fine. Back, power, off, on, you name it. Really, really waterproof. Again, we have the specs on it, and I got a special discount coupon for you as well. If you come on in from GoCarbinox.com, when you go to checkout, whatever you put in your cart, put in the code TICS and you'll get 20% off. There's also other codes that the company comes up with, and just to keep you on top of things, in the show notes, the very first line of all of these watches I'm reviewing, I'm putting down what the current company code is, and sometimes it's 10%, 15, 20, 25. It just depends where they are in the cycle. So check that code. You can always rely on TICS if you want to pick it up and get 20% off. Right off the top, yeah, it immediately calculates that and discounts it from your total. So, in addition to, where are we? The Lux, which is in black or in green, the Army edition. This company also makes a round one called the Spacecrafter, and it's a sweet little watch, also waterproof, also seriously hardened, but for those of you like round, you've got that one. And again, this is the first one they came out with. It's a solid watch, but they've also upgraded it a bit. There's another one called the Titan, which is pretty much similar, a little bit longer, 5 atmosphere waterproof, 3 atmosphere waterproof, so a little bit more waterproof and a little bit more expensive. But you've got choices now, and we've got a special playlist with reviews of all of these and some comparison videos as well. So head on over, smartwatchtics.com, hit the playlist, look for Carbinox watches, and you can decide which one really works for you. And if you use GoCarbinox.com, you're helping us out here at the channel too, because that lets them know that you saw the videos here, because nobody knows about that unless you either saw it here or you share it with your friends, which I'm fine if you want to do that. Alrighty, gang. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.